Once again, I packed my bags and headed back to Thailand, a place that had started to feel like a second home for me. I was really hoping to relive that amazing moment I had with a bar girl the last time I visited 6 months earlier. Unfortunately, I was one of them men that ended up getting a little too attached to a bar girl, despite all of the warnings not to. Up until that point, I had done good by leaving my heart at the airport when I landed and picking it up on the way out. My flight touched down in Bangkok, and the first thing I did was swap my money for Thai baht, the real money I'd need to start living the trip I'd been dreaming about every single day since I last left Thailand. I jumped into a taxi as soon as I could, dropped my bags off at the hotel, and as it was already evening, I headed straight to Nana Plaza. I couldn't stop thinking about whether I'd finally run into Ploy again after all of this time. Those short but amazing moments I shared with Ploy during my last trip did something to me. No other bar girl had that effect on me during my last trips. It's hard to explain, but something about her just stuck with me. After flying back home last time, I couldn't stop thinking about how all I wanted was just one more night with Ploy. That's all that really mattered to me anymore. The problem is, I never got her phone number or any way to contact her. I didn't even know if she'd still be there or if I'd ever see her again. And we all know a lot can happen to a bar girl while we aren't there. I went to Nana Plaza and walked right to the bar where I last saw her. I looked around, hoping she would be there. Some of the girls in there are absolutely stunning, but I only had one thing in mind, so I politely declined everyone as I made my way around the bar. One of the bar girls caught my eye. She looked familiar, and she looked like she remembered me from last time. She gave me a friendly smile and said hello in that easy way that Thai girls do it. I then remembered that it was a friend of Ploy that I met last time I was here. She was a big flirt and loved winning lady drinks by playing games like most girls do. I took a seat and got a drink, and just then I heard someone call out my name. When I turned, there she was, Ploy, my beautiful Thai girl, standing right beside me. We started talking right away, just like the last trip, and we played a few of those dice games they always have at the bar. Then I pulled out my phone and shown her that I still had her photo in the hotel from the last trip. I told her the reason I still had her photo is because it was the only way I could find her again since I never got her number last time. I kept it with me the whole time just in case I got lucky and ran into her. While we were sitting there talking and drinking together, it's like nothing else existed. Just being with her takes me to a different place, a feeling I only got with her and no other girl. Maybe I don't need to overthink it. Just being with Ploy made me completely happy. Her smile, that voice of hers, even how she moves around. Everything about her got me. I love every little thing. Yes, I am a bit of a sucker when it comes to romance. I may be quite the idiot for having these feelings for a bar girl. But, oh well, it does happen to the best of us. Finding Ploy again was only part of what I had in mind. Last time, we'd been together at my hotel, but we never actually got around to doing anything together. This time, I was determined to change that. Don't ask me why, I just had to. After a couple of hours, when we had finished our drinks, I asked, "Shall we go?" And she gave me that smile of hers as if she had been waiting for me to ask and said, "Okay." We got back to my hotel and I don't think we got a wink of sleep that night. It was amazing, and I had finally completed one of the tasks I had been thinking about for the past 6 months. She lived with her children, so she would never spend the night with me, but she would stay for as long as she could. By 4 a.m, it was time to say goodbye. I walked her down, gave her a kiss, and told her that I will see her again soon. She jumped into a taxi and off she went. Before this trip, I'd been talking to a Thai girl online. We got on really well, and I actually invited her to come and stay with me in Pattaya. Kind of crazy when I think about it now, as anyone that has been to Pattaya knows you do not need to take a girl there. Keep in mind, when I planned this trip, I wasn't sure I'd ever see Ploy again. And even if by some miracle I did find her, what were the odds she'd actually remember me? These girls don't just stop meeting others just because you have gone home. Honestly, it seemed pretty unlikely I would see her again. The next morning, I met the Thai girl I'd been talking to online. We had a coffee in Bangkok and then caught the bus down to Pattaya. Here I was, travelling with someone new, when just yesterday I'd been with Ploy again after thinking I'd never see her. That bus ride to Pattaya took about 2 hours, and by the end of it, I already knew. There was zero spark between us. No romantic connection, no physical attraction, nothing. Sometimes you just know these things. For example, every time I tried to start a conversation with her, she would give me one-word answers or end the conversation quick, even though she spoke and understood English. Looks-wise, she was decent looking, not the best but still very attractive. But because I had been with Ploy the night before, it wasn't even worth comparing them. Don't get me wrong, she was a nice girl. It wasn't about her at all, but coming straight from amazing Ploy to her, let's just say that was a tough and maybe stupid choice on my part. Even though I wasn't feeling it with this new girl, I still wanted to do the right thing. We all like to think we're good guys, but the real test comes when you're actually in that situation. So I made a decision. I'd try and make the best out of this situation. Maybe it wouldn't be romantic, but at the very least, it would be an experience. Maybe I'd even learn something about myself along the way. The hotel was perfect, and I was loving everything about Pattaya. The bar scene, the bar girls, the beach, even some crazy jet ski fun. As for my Thai friend, well, I tried to be smooth about keeping things friendly. No awkward moments and no hurt feelings. At least, that's what I was going for. I think after a couple of days with the new Thai girl, she realized that I wasn't interested in her romantically, and she saw that this trip will just be like friends going out. And if nothing more, then at least she got a free little holiday. Every free moment I had, my mind kept thinking back to Ploy. Walking down Beach Road, sitting at a bar, chatting to new girls. All I could think was, I wish Ploy was here right now. Pattaya was fun, but it just would have been a lot more fun with her. Wednesday morning came around, and after a great breakfast, I was practically throwing my stuff into my bag. I couldn't wait to catch that bus back to Bangkok. Pattaya had been fun, but my mind was made up. Just being in the same city as Ploy again, that alone made me feel better already, like I was back where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to spend the rest of my Bangkok trip with the girl from online, but I had to be honest with her. I said, look, after spending most of my marriage feeling alone, then years more single after my divorce, I've just gotten too used to my own space. Being with someone constantly, it's harder for me than you think. I told her it wasn't about her, that after just 3 days together, I was feeling drained, and that part was true enough. The rest, yes, I lied. I couldn't just say, I feel zero attraction to you. It doesn't matter what you say really. Either way, you are the bad guy. In the end, she chose to leave, but I just couldn't keep pretending, not when every part of me was screaming to get back to Ploy. I think the new girl took it as well as she could, and she kind of understood. However, I never did hear from her again, and she removed me from line where we had been speaking. Well, sometimes people just do not connect. I rushed back to Nana Plaza once she left, only to get that bad feeling when Ploy wasn't at her usual spot. Her friend gave me an awkward smile. She's not feeling well today. She called in sick. They even called her right there in front of me. She said she'd taken some medicine and couldn't come out. Part of me wanted to believe that. The other part knew this was Thailand. Sick could mean anything from a real fever or already barfined someone else. Either way, I was left standing there like an idiot. At the time, I did not know this, but I was told later by other friends, when a bar girl says her friend is sick, it normally means that she has already been barfined by someone else. Just a little tip if you didn't know. I was disappointed Ploy wasn't there, but you know how it goes in these bars. I ended up with other bar girls who worked there, the ones I'd gotten to know over drinks and dice games. Eventually, I ended up sitting next to Ploy's friend that I had met on my previous trip, the big flirt. She was stunning and really knew how to work the bar scene. We flirted, played a few games, and I bought her a couple of rounds of drinks. Not the night I'd hoped for, but not a total loss either. Ploy's friend kept playfully hinting that I should barfine her instead, half joking, but you know how that game goes. I just laughed it off. We both knew that wasn't going to happen. I think if I had never met Ploy, I may just have barfined her friend. The way she acted and flirted, you could tell she was a professional at this game. The whole night turned into her flirting with me and making advances while we kept drinking. She had this wild energy about her, the kind of girl who'd try a look just for the fun of it. I've got to admit, it was pretty impressive. I said my goodbyes, left the bar, and went back to my hotel alone. Lying there, I realized something. I was hooked on Ploy, and only Ploy. That scared me a bit, since I had never gotten like that over a girl, let alone a Thai bar girl. I had always been one of them guys that brushes off feelings. But if I'm turning down other girls just because of one specific girl, then yes, I was in trouble. The next day, I skipped the beers and went round Bangkok's markets instead. I had a great afternoon. This city never gets old, but every so often my mind would drift back to Ploy. I might have a real problem here with my feelings. That night, I just couldn't help myself. I had to go back to Nana Plaza. All I wanted was to see Ploy again. I might have showed up a bit too early though. The place was still empty and no girls around. Then the door opened and in walked Sai, Ploy's friend from last night. Really, she was so beautiful. When she spotted me, her face lit up, and she called out to me like we were old friends. I sat there watching Sai get ready. There's something fascinating about how these girls do their makeup right at the bar. The amount of stuff they put on their face is crazy. Face powder, eyeliner, eyeshadow, and then picking the lip pencil, the lipstick, and finally mascara. It's like a whole ritual. Every tiny detail matters. But the way they look after is amazing. It's no wonder a lot of LBs are convincing. Then I saw Ploy walk in. Just seeing her made me happy. She looked beautiful as always, even if she wasn't made up yet. Showing me that smile that I loved so much. It was just good to see her again. Ploy walks straight over to me and gives me a kiss hello. I need to do my makeup, she says. Okay, I'll see you in an hour, I replied. She stops dead, gives me this look like I just insulted her mother, and then bursts out laughing. You are crazy if you think it takes me just an hour to get ready. I sat down again and played dice games while I enjoyed watching Ploy attempt to improve on her already perfect looks. All a waste of time to me, but she seems so focused on perfecting every little detail about her face. Finally, she joins me. My plan for that night was to take Ploy to dinner and then back to the hotel. So I asked her if she would like to go and get dinner, and she replied straight, no. I thought, oh, okay. I was really disappointed, but didn't say anything. After a 17-year bad marriage, I have heard the word no enough for 10 lifetimes. I actually thought her friend might have told her that I was flirting with her last night, so Ploy was angry at me and did not want to come with me. I told Ploy's best friend that I had asked her if she wanted to go out for dinner and that she said no. She looked confused and turned to Ploy and had this discussion in Thai and then explained to me that Ploy had misunderstood what I had said. Apparently, she thought I asked her if she had already had dinner and she said no. As the night was getting pretty late, I turned to Ploy and said, "We go?" And with a sweet smile again, she says, okay. Ploy is a little reserved in public, but when we are alone in the hotel room, she's very relaxed. Although she will not allow me to keep the curtains in the room open. I try to reason with her. We are 12 stories up, and I doubt anyone could see into the dimly lit room. She will still have none of it, and the curtains stay closed. Afterwards, we lay there together, not saying much, and then Ploy asks me, "What time do you leave tomorrow?" I tell her I leave at midnight, and she suggests we have dinner together and she comes with me to the airport to say goodbye. I was a little surprised because that was the first time she had actually suggested meeting up. I thought she may have suggested it because of the misunderstanding about having dinner that night, but I said okay, we will have dinner, a massage, and then go to the airport. The following evening, I get a call from Ploy saying she is in the lobby. She looked gorgeous in a pretty black dress which she promised me she would wear. We had a great dinner together and the foot massage was perfect. I will definitely put that on my list of things to do when I next visit. At dinner, I could tell she was a little sad that I would be leaving, or maybe I was just hoping she was. We promised to keep in touch every day until I return for her again. She told me she has heard all of that before, but I think I made it clear that my feelings for her are deeper than just a bar fine here and there. We get to the airport a little late, and I hand my papers over to check-in. I knew straight away there's something wrong here. The lady behind the counter was taking her time checking me in, looking at my ticket and talking on the phone to someone. Finally, the clerk informs me that the flight is overbooked and asked if it would be possible for me to fly out the next morning. She tells me that the airline will put me up hotel, arrange breakfast and transfers, and fly me out business class the following morning. I think she was waiting for me to kick off and complain because I had already booked, but inside I was bursting with excitement. I wasn't ready to leave just yet, and a little bit more time with Ploy sounded perfect to me. Attempting to contain my excitement, I replied, "Sounds great, book it through." We get to the room to find we are booked into an executive suite, and I don't think I have ever seen a bigger bed than that bed. I know Ploy cannot stay with me because she has a wedding to go to the following day and has to be at the hair salon at 7 a.m. It was really bad timing. I wish she could have stayed with me because the fun we could have had in that big room would have been unbelievable. We had a little chat and did some other things, and then we had our final hug before I walked her down to get a taxi. As we walked down the hallway, I caught sight of her in a mirror and said, "God, you are beautiful." She replied with a sigh of disappointment and said, "I know," as if it was a cross she had to bear. I looked at her and we both burst into laughter. In the many, many hours I had spent with Ploy, that was the first time she had let her guard down and I got a glimpse of the real Ploy. A confident, beautiful, cute, strong woman with a wonderful sense of humour. The taxi pulled up and I kissed Ploy one last time and watched her as the taxi drove away. All I know is I love how I feel when I am with her, and I love the person I am when I am with her. And she is the only woman that has ever made me feel that way. It has now been a month since I have returned from Bangkok after my time with Ploy. It takes a while for me to settle down after being in Bangkok, getting back into the routine of everyday life. I am always mindful of the situation men find themselves in with women, and I don't just mean Thai women, but women in general. I did get her cell number this time, and I've sent a few text messages, but I think her friend replies to me. She has never sent me a text or contacted me first to say hello. I was a little disappointed that we couldn't carry on our fling or whatever you want to call it, but I can't say that I'm not surprised. To her, I was just another tourist in her bar with a wallet full of money. I'm sure she has met plenty more like me in the month that I have been gone. Deep down, I knew nothing could happen between me and her because of what she does for work. But to be honest, I didn't really want anything to happen. I didn't want to get more attached than I already had. I think men like me that are looking for a Thai woman to be with are easy targets for bar girls because we are wearing our heart on our sleeve. Luckily for me, it's not really a nightmare of a story. I didn't lose money and I had a great time, so it's no problem for me. I got out of there just in time. I think if I never went to Pattaya that trip and spent the whole time with Ploy, then I could have potentially developed more feelings and spent a lot more money than I did. Nevertheless, it was a good experience for me, and I know now how all of the guys feel that catch feelings for a bar girl. It's a great feeling, but also very worrying. I have decided I am not going looking for Ploy again. I am 54 and it would be nice to meet a Thai woman to be with, but I think that is just a stupid dream. So I think I will do this final stretch alone. So it is time for me to hit the go-go bars and have some fun.